are listening to the Better Me podcast. Before we get into today's episode, wish you all a fantabulous day ahead. I would like to start today's episode with this anecdote. A baby mosquito, after it returned from its first flight of the world, it went to its mother and it was telling to its mother, "Mom, today, you know what happened? I went out, and today, as you know, is my first flight, and I learned to fly. I just saw this wonderful world around. And you know what? All the people around, they were clapping for me, Mom. How nice of them. I was so much happy and enthused because they all clapped for me, and I flew a bit more. I tried to put in my efforts a bit more to sustain my flight. Despite this was my first flight, I did my best because all the people around me were clapping their hands and they were trying to motivate me, Mom." This is what the baby mosquito told the mother. What do you infer from this? I actually liked this anecdote when I first heard it. It's the attitude of the mosquito here that is totally exhilarating for me. The baby, which is innocent and does not know about why people actually clapped. They didn't clap to encourage its flight. They clapped, or they were just trying to beat the mosquito. It did not know that, but it thought that they were clapping to encourage it, and it felt very happy about it. Basically, it's the social conditioning and all that is fed into our mind as we grow up that prohibits, in one way or the other, our own growth without our knowledge. Since the baby mosquito did not know anything else apart from the fact that it only had to fly, it did not know about anything else. So it concentrated only on that, and anything that happened, it took it in a positive way. It just saw whatever that was happening around it as an encouragement because it was focused only on what it wanted. Though it is not possible for us to change into that baby mosquito and forget all that we have been conditioned into or throw away all that knowledge that we have acquired over our lifetime, but there's something interesting that we can learn from it. One thing is, when you need to succeed, you should be focused on only what you need to do or what you are supposed to do, what is meant to be done, and nothing else. When that is only the goal, nothing else would matter. Even if something comes up in the way, you would turn it into a positive motivation because all you want at the end is to achieve the goal. So anything that is hindering you, it is hindering you only because you think it's a hindrance. What if you think it's something that will help you to achieve what you want? Try to look everything from that perspective. Let me explain it with a small example. Let's say you're trying to learn a new language or a skill or a theory or something new, and you find something is obstructing it, like you don't get the required materials on time, or you're not able to understand the concept, or you're not able to retain what you learned. Be it any kind of an obstacle, you just have to turn it to your benefit. How is it possible? When you don't get the required materials to learn something, you just have to understand that the basis of learning something, a new skill or a language or a technique or a theory, is to first acquire the skills, and for that you should be ready, or you should have taken that step beforehand to acquire all the materials that you need, either from online or from some person you know, through some mentor. You should have thought about it, but you did not. So it's a learning curve there. You don't have to think it's an obstacle. You should go forward and equip yourself, because that's the basis. That's how you can overcome that. to some means or the other. Because when your goal is to learn that language or learn that skill, and that is the only goal, even without your knowledge, you would automatically try to do what it requires to get those materials. You don't have to consider it to be a hurdle. You just have to take it as a step in the process. And it is nothing to be worried about. The only thing that we do here which is wrong is we worry about what happens. We think it's an obstacle. The mindset has to be changed first of all. When we think that it is not an obstacle, it is a step that we have to overcome, or it is something that is normal. This happens to anybody. This might happen to anybody who's trying to learn a language. If you have such kind of a mindset, then it wouldn't actually appear to be a big issue at all. And you would be able to overcome that very easily. You would be able to acquire that resources that you're looking for, or the mentor whom you want to help you with the learning of that language or the skill or the technique. It isn't that hard at all. It's only in our mindset. And of course, the attitude. Let's take another example where a scenario where you have submitted something, a proposal or a project, something that you've completed, something that's you put in all your work and submitted to your boss or somebody to whom your authority, somebody who is taking in charge of it. And it turns out they find fault with it. They comment about it. They give feedback about it. Sometimes it could even be negative feedback. It not always has to be positive. If it's positive, well and good, don't take it to your head. Just take it normally, be neutral. If it's negative, do the same. You don't have to take it to your heart. It's just a feedback and something that they are trying to express. It doesn't have to be personal. You don't have to take it personally. It is something that you have done. Even if they're going to say something about you, you don't have to take it personally at all. It is what they feel about something. Let's say I can explain this in an easier way where you can understand it better. Let's say you go to a shop, you look at a product and the color of it is something that you like, but you take somebody else or somebody who comes to the shop, sees the same product and the color, they don't like the color of it. If it's going to be a bright color, you like bright color, so you just like it, you pick it up. But the other person doesn't like the color and they are like, they just try to show aversion. It's all seen in their face outright. They give comments, they say it's not nice, it's the worst thing that you can imagine. That's how they speak about that product. How is it going to affect the product? It's just the product, it's its own color. It doesn't have to change just because somebody isn't liking it. It is their own opinion. The same way in life, when somebody tries to judge you, comment about you, or gives feedback, which is not so good, don't take it personally. It is their own suggestion about how they see their life. I mean, what is there in their mind, what is there in their heart about such a thing. And sometimes when it comes to work, or even if it's going to be a relationship or anything, where they give comments, they pass comments, there's just stop a minute to think about what they say. I have asked you not to take it personally, but it does not mean that you shouldn't listen to it at all. You can listen to it, of course, you have to listen to it. If somebody's got to say your work is not correct, or there's something wrong about it, or it is inappropriate, or it has to be improved, maybe it's a positive feedback, it's a constructive criticism. At such a time, we have to take it up, only that part of it, and use it as a constructive feedback to build ourselves. See, whatever you saw as an obstacle or as a hindrance for your growth could also be turned into something that would help you to motivate to grow further and reach tremendous heights. It's all in our perspective. So, the next time you try to achieve your goal, be it anything, if your only constant motivation is to achieve your goal, remember, nothing else would matter. Try this way and see how it works. Then everything you do in your life would be as satisfying as you never thought. Feel free to share your comments and feedbacks in the comment section below.